Hello and welcome to the Psychology Series 2023-24 by Cognizavest. मैं हूँ सिद्धांत and today I am here to give you the learning which you need right before your board exams. So today we are going to study the chapter number 1, which is your variations in psychological attributes. This chapter is going to be of 13 marks for your boards. That means ये 13 marks लाना आपके लिए उतना ही easy है जितना रोज सुबह उठ के ब्रश करना. So starting with the first thing, we will go with the introduction of the topic that हम आज इस chapters में पढ़ने वाले हैं. The first topic is individual differences human in functioning. Individual differences are basically आपके और मेरे बीच के differences. Second topic होगा assessment of psychological attributes. Assessment of psychological attributes basically means आपके वो attributes, qualities जो हमें assess करनी है. For example, आपका anger, आपका introversion और extroversion level. Then coming, we will have some theories of intelligence, which will be our psychometric theory, our information processing theory, and also our theory of multiple intelligence by Gardner Saab. Right? After that, we are going to come to the point of individual differences in intelligence. हो सकता है आप मुझसे बहुत ज़्यादा smart हो या फिर vice versa. Right? उसके बाद अब क्या culture हमारे intelligence पे matter करेगा कि नहीं? And then we'll have our emotional intelligence. Right? Along with that, we will be concluding a chapter with special abilities of aptitude and creativity. Okay, so now I think we can start with the first topic, which is individual differences in human functioning. So हमारी normal language में individual differences क्या हुए? Individual differences हुए आप और मेरे बीच के अंतर, which is हो सकता है आप introvert ज़्यादा हो, आपको बाहर socialize करना अच्छा ना लगता हो, whereas मेरे को I love to go for parties, right? But in the board language, no, they are not going to accept, your examiners are not going to accept आपके और मेरे बीच का अंतर. So we have to remember the exact definition of individual differences, which is right here on the screen. Individual differences basically refer to the distinctiveness and variations among people's characteristics and behavioral patterns. So this basically refers कि जो आपके और मेरे बीच के characteristics है. For example, आपकी height, for example, आपका nature, आपका sociable nature है, आपका introvert nature है, आप shy हैं, आप confident हैं, and so on, is our individual differences. But along with that, some people also, some psychologists also suggest that there's a term known as situationism. Situationism basically says कि जिस situation में मैं हूँ उस time पे मेरा behavior उस situation के according mold होगा, which is situations and circumstances in which one is placed influences one's behavior. For example, मैं एक बहुत ही वो आदमी हूँ जिसको बहुत जल्दी गुस्सा आ जाता है, but in front of my boss, I will always be very submissive and very agreeable. Whereas in the opposite case, with my friends, I am someone who is very aggressive, right? I hope आपके ये first 3 topics clear हो गए हो. Moving on is our assessment of psychological attributes. अब ये चीज जो हमने individual differences के बारे में, situationism के बारे में जानी, हम इस चीज को measure कैसे करते हैं, which is through the mode of assessment of psychological attributes. Assessment is our first step in the understanding of a psychological attribute, which is psychological attribute means आपकी quality, psychological qualities. For example, if I want to measure if you are an introvert or an extrovert, I would be using an assessment of your psychological attribute on the basis of introversion and extroversion. So, assessment refers to the measurement of psychological attributes of individuals and their evaluation. Assessment अब हमारे type के होते हैं 2 type, formal and informal. Formal assessments are basically very standardized, objective and organized, whereas our informal assessments are going to be very subjective. They are going to vary from case to case. हो सकता है मेरा assessment अलग हो और आपका assessment अलग हो, if and only it's a informal type of an assessment. And along with that, as I said, examiner to examiner भी depend करेगा. तो yeah. Moving on. Okay. So psychological assessments also uses a lot of systematic testings, procedure in order to evaluate your abilities, your behavior and personal qualities. Which means आपकी personal qualities एक random test से नहीं होंगी, whereas a lot of psychologists have worked in order to create tests which will measure your personality, your interest, your aptitudes, etc. for in a systematic and a standardized way. Right? I hope this is all clear. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask over the comment section given below. Moving on, we have our domains of psychological attributes. What are the different kinds of domains we have? Intelligence, aptitude, interest, personality and values. What is intelligence? Intelligence, normal language में तो हमारी बुद्धि. But in the book, it says intelligence is the global and aggregate capacity of an individual to think rationally, deal effectively with his or her environment. This definition has been given by Wechsler you need to make sure कि आपकी ये definition exact बैचलर की book by book जो है वो ही आप अपने बोर्ड पेपर में लिख के आए. Aptitude is known as an individual's underlying potential to acquire skills, whereas interest is someone's preference to do an activity. अब आपने बहुत चीजें ट्राई करी होंगी कि हाँ मेरे को चलो सेल्स करने में बहुत मजा आता है, मेरे को सेल्स में बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, मैं सेल्स करना चाहता हूँ, बट आपने सेल्स की जॉब ली और आपसे सेल्स हुई नहीं. क्यों? बिकॉज आपको इंटरेस्ट तो उस चीज का है बट आपके अंदर उस चीज का एप्टीट्यूड नहीं है. You do not have the skills to underlying skills to gain that skill, which means कि aptitude and interest go hand in hand. You should have aptitude for the thing you are interested in, and similarly you should have interest for the thing you have aptitude in, right? Next चीज आती है हमारी personality. अब personality is also in our chapter 2, which will definitely be a little confusing here, but don't worry. In this chapter, personality is very small and crisp. Personality is basically your relatively enduring characteristics that make you different from the other person. Which means मेरे वो characteristics जो मुझे आपसे अलग करते हैं. इसका एग्जाम्पल, रात को आप घर पे बैठ के फ्रेंड्स देख रहे हैं जबकि बाहर मैं जाके फ्रेंड्स बना रहा हूँ. Is our different kinds of personalities. Next, we come up with our values. So values in our easy language is basically जो हमें संस्कार हमारे बड़ों से मिले हैं, जैसे अपने बड़ों की इज्जत करना, उनके पैर छूना, अपने जूनियर्स की हेल्प करना, मंदिर जैसे पहले जाने से पहले जूते उतारना. बट अगेन ये सब चीजें बोर्ड एग्जाम में नहीं चलेंगी. सो वी हैव टू रिमेंबर द एग्जैक्ट डेफिनेशन ऑफ वैल्यूज, व्हिच इज एन आइडियल मोड ऑफ बिहेवियर दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड आउट ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल. द enduring belief that is expected out of an individual is our values. So I hope this concept of domains or psychological attributes are clear. First is intelligence, aptitude, interest, personality, and values. Now I would like you all to open your notebooks and write down the 5 domains of intelligence of your psychological attributes. Right? Do make sure that you are making notes while watching the videos, because this is going to help you a lot a night before your board exam. And yes, उस रात हम available होंगे. Okay, so now that we have understood what assessment is, assessment types of assessment, your formal assessment, informal assessment, after that we've understood what are the domains of psychological attributes, now we will be coming to the assessment methods. So assessment methods basically are the ways to assess those psychological attributes. The assessment methods that we are going to talk about today are psychological tests, interviews, case studies, observations, and self-reports. So case study is basically an in-depth study of an individual, his or her, when we observe his or her own characteristics, and we use various methods in order to finalize a case study. Moving on, we have psychological test. Psychological test is an objective and standardized measure of an individual's behavioral characteristics along with his or her mental characteristics. Right? Apart from that, we have left with interview, observation, and self-report. So what is interview? इंटरव्यू इजी भाषा में इज बेसिकली एक दूसरे से बात करना, मे बी जॉब इंटरव्यूज एक्सेट्रा. बट फॉर योर बोर्ड एग्जाम्स, इंटरव्यू is basically seeking information from a person on a one-to-one basis or more. We have various types of interviews, for example, group to group, individual to group, group to individual, and also group individual to individual. Okay, moving on, we have observation and self-report. So we'll start with, I think, observation we can go ahead with. So observation is basically a systematic procedure in which we observe the participant, the one who are we assessing. Observation can be of various types, which is naturalistic, controlled, for example. Along with that, with the last topic we have is a self-report. Self-report, as it goes by the name, khud ka information provide karna, which means when the person himself or herself provides factual information about themselves, his or her own opinions, beliefs, etc. This we can also get in the form of questionnaires, diaries, personal diaries, etc. So coming with this, I think we are done with today's video, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got to learn more information. You got some clarity for your board exams, and please, we are coming back with a new video for the next topic, which is our intelligence. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a nice day.